Welcome back to our Python Essentials track. In this lesson, we will create our first Python script on the Raspberry Pi. Understand core syntax rules, learn how to run code from the terminal, and explore user input and handle console output like a pro. Let's dive right in. Open Thonny or Visual Studio Code or Nano or whatever you prefer and create a file named hello.py. Python uses whitespace to define code blocks. For example, if you remove or shift the indentation, you get an error. If true, print this, you'd need an indentation for the print statement. You assign variables in Python using an equal like so. There's no need to declare data types upfront. Python does it for you. If you have message equals hello and say print message, hello would be printed. These are some basic data types within Python. Strings are things like hello, pi, whatever word you write. Integers are numbers, 42, 45, whatever. Floats are things like 3.14. Booleans are used for true or false. If you are in a comment in Python, use the hashtag for single line comment. And comments are crucial for readability. When it comes to running a script from a terminal, first, you'd have to navigate to the directory where you saved it. So if your directory is labeled project, you have to cd to project. And then if you were to say ls list this files to ensure your hello.py is there, you can execute the script from the terminal by running python 3 hello.py, and you should see hello world as an output. If there's an error, double check spelling or indentation. When it comes to receiving user input, you can have things like an input, which pauses the program until the user types something storing that text. In this example, a name. We specified what we're looking for in the input saying what's your name, and then when user specifies the name, it gets printed in the next iteration. If you want to handle numbers, you might need type conversion. So if you notice in the previous example, we used input, and that's helped us to store text. In this case, for storing number, we'd have to use int. For example, if we're collecting age equals int, and then we have an input, and then how old are you? And then that would basically print the age. Be mindful of users typing strings when you expect numbers. That might cause an error. Handling that gracefully is something you can explore once you're comfortable. We've been using print throughout, but here's a bit more. So if we have greetings equals hi, and then you have who equals school members. And then if you have print, greetings followed by a comma, followed by a who, followed by sep equals, and then having an end. The SEP defines the separator between arguments and defines what's printed at the end. Here's an exclamation mark plus a new line. For having formatted strings, you can use F strings for cleaner code. This is more elegant than concatenating strings. So if you use print the F string followed by a quotation hello, and you have that name placeholder and you have the age placeholder, it makes things a lot more cleaner. Congrats on creating and running your first Python program on the Raspberry Pi, exploring key syntax, user input, and output methods. You've laid the groundwork for bigger projects like sensor readings, graphical user interfaces, or even web apps. Remember, practice these examples, experiment with different inputs, explore, try creating new scripts with loops or conditions, ask if you run into trouble, share your code snippet in our school forum. Our community is here to help. In our next module, we'll step up to more complex Python concepts, so stay tuned. Happy coding!